Welcome along, everybody. We're back for silver action tonight. Then, unfortunately, you're stuck with me in the commentary box instead of Sean Meek, who's busy getting himself back from work. But welcome along to US of A, and it's a bit of a rainy start here then for the silver grid. as we get ourselves loaded in. Then it looks like it's going to be a full wet qualifying actually, so that's going to be very interesting stuff indeed. Right, where are we? We're in the USA. Where are we then? We're looking at the constructor. No, looking at the Drivers' Championship then for silver. Then after round 15, which of course was in Baku last week, then we skipped Singapore, then off to USA, which is unfortunately a bit rainy to start off qualifying. Intermediates for every driver in the garage as it stands. But there we go then. Miranov leads the way with 162 points then for the McLaren driver, then 150 for Duke then as well. They're looking to try and close that gap in then, or potentially take the championship lead depending on how the race unfolds tonight then as well. Then 143 for Sweet MJP, who has got himself into the Haas seat then only a few rounds ago now, but has been performing brilliantly then to get himself into the top 3 then with 143 points, then only 19 points, if I can do the maths correctly, off the... No, that's correct. That's wrong as well. Yes, he is 19. Is he 19 points? I think he's 19 points off the top of the championship as it stands, but of course, that's the maths that I can compute at the moment then, but it's probably wrong. Marky then P4, Kiki P5, then we've got Jinner in P6, who's on hollybobs for now. Hopefully he's enjoying himself then, and he's not in the rainy climes then of the USA as it stands. Raging Bull then P7, then Vessia P8, then we've got Nigel in P9, and Camaro Racer rounds off the top 10. Into the constructors, then we've got McLaren leading the way with 290 points then for the Papaya team, then looking to get themselves a championship just like the actual team did last weekend, or yesterday actually, in Singapore, and looking good so far. Then Williams in P2, sorry, with 244, then Duke and Jinner, then unfortunately for Jinner then not racing tonight, so no constructors points for one of the Williams cars is going to be completed tonight, unfortunately, and Duke is going to be carrying the sword for the Williams team tonight then as well. Then Haas then have got themselves out to P3 with 190 points then for Sweet MJP, and Nigel XO, who unfortunately he's having a bit of a he's having some hand surgery then, which is going to be a bit problematic because he can't race. So he's unfortunately not going to be able to take part, I don't think, in the rest of the season there. Red Bull then in P4 then for Kiki, and for who is the other one? Sloth. That's the one. He is of course. How could I forget the Super Sloth? That is. But he's P4. They're P4 then for the Red Bull team. And Alpine P5, Aston Martin P6, Kick Sauber in P7. We've got Racing Bulls then in P8, Ferrari P9, and Mercedes in P10 as it stands. And here we are in qualifying. And Gordo has had a bit of an escapade somewhere there, but he's, I think, on an outlap anyway, so it doesn't matter too much then for Gordo. Then away we will go then for the first qualifying lap of the session, drifting it round the final corner to start off the lap, as Gordo takes the reins then for this qualifying session then. Let's see what he can muster up then in this first outing. Then we've got ALR from Gordo as well. Then good luck all as well as he gets himself onto the circuit to get himself round the US of A. I'm on the peasant wagon, says Ginger Rage. I think he means the bus, but there we are. So going through the S's section then, that back end is very flighty indeed for Gordo. Then we might see a few drivers there having a bit of the same as we go through this qualifying outing, of course, as well. Then this wet weather is probably not what they catered for then in Texas, which usually is nice and sunny. But it's not so much at the moment then as we go through on to down towards Sector 2 then. And into the hairpin then to get onto that long back straight then, not the longest straight in the F1 calendar, but a very long straight nonetheless. Then that back end once again stepping out for Gordo as we power along. Then we've got some ERS to play with them, but not too much DRS unfortunately in this qualifying session. Then the rain has caused the DRS to be disabled, that is, but we'll wait and see then if it comes back then later on in the session then, because I thought it was going to be full wet tyres, but it's intermediate tyres, so maybe there's a potential for it to dry up then later on as we get ourselves through into Sector 3. Then Gordo, then that back end still uncontrollable then for the Racing Bull. Then that is going to be stepping out. Then it steps out there in the dry, doesn't it then? But in the wet conditions, even worse as we go through then into the well, the copy of the Turkish turn 8 and 9, really, isn't it? But not so good, as not as good, I should say, as we go through there. Oh, dearie me, that's close indeed to losing the back end. And Gordo's doing a great job of controlling the car then in these conditions as we head through then into the final corner for the first lap. Then he's kept it valid, he's kept it within track limits as well. Then don't mention that in gold as we go up to the line then for Gordo. Then it's a 49.7. Then that's the first time on the board then here in qualifying. Then Duke also out on track. Then where is that Alpine? It's Vessi, then he's done a 48.3 and puts himself on P1 for the time being. Only 2 drivers have set a time just yet, so we've got a few more minutes to get the qualifying laps underway. So there, that's good. Right then, we'll crack on. Yellow flags. It's for a McLaren, I should say. That's Moranov starting off a lap then in the McLaren team. Then can they clinch a constructors title this season? Oh, they can't clinch it tonight then, of course. So they're going to have to carry on a couple more races then. I think potentially mathematically, if they do a good job tonight then, and of course in Brazil next week, then we've got the break weeks. Then they could win it in Vegas after the break weeks as well. Then so we'll wait and see. Then Tori's done a 48.1, puts himself on P1 for now. Then Gamer's done a 49.7 for his first outing. Kamara Racer a 49.7 as well, as Duke has jumped up to P2 onto the front row with a 48.2, and Vessia, no, he's not Vessia, sorry, it's hard to beat in the other Aston Martin a 49.3. Then but Potstav's eclipsed that time with a 49.1, and Lewis Riley in the wet conditions as well, a 47.9 in the Ferrari then. So the Ferrari not too shabby then in these wet conditions there for Lewis Riley, and looking good indeed then in the Scarlet Red as well then. As it stands in Sweetener P then a 49.3 puts himself P6 then, and gets himself onto the third row of the grid then. As it stands, the time's tumbling in now as well. Then Mad Max has done a 49.8, puts himself P11 for now as well. Kydell coming through the final sector now as well then. I think his teammate then is slightly ahead then, and we've got an Alpine as well then. Where is that Alpine? That's no, it's not Mad Max, it might be Vessia, but we'll come back to that one because Kydell's going to finish off his first outing here in qualifying. Let's see what Kydell can do as we go through then into that final corner, then burning the RS then to get himself round that final corner. Then 47.7 from his teammate, from the Alpine of Vessi. Then Kydell's done a 48.7, puts himself just ahead of his teammate there on the third row of the grid. Then Vessi's gone faster with a 47.7. If he did a 27.7, that would be pretty good stuff indeed, but unfortunately I don't think the conditions are playing to that, but there we go. So Vessi then onto the top step, and as it stands as well, then these wet conditions could cause a bit of a flurry then in qualifying. Debo Croc then has jumped up to P7 with a 49.0 then in the Haas. That is Nigel's car as well. Then I was just saying about Nigel then having a bit of a difficult time with his hands, so unfortunately he can't use the race wheel that he's so accustomed to. But hopefully he will be back soon. And Debo Croc then is down to P9 unfortunately because Gamer then has improved to P5 with their 48.2, and I think we had somebody else jump up the order as well there, but I couldn't quite tell. So there. Kamara Racer, I think it might be. But there we go then. So that's the order so far then. No, it's not, because Potstuff's jumped to P5 then, and Lewis Riley's jumped back up to P1 with a 46.9, and that is pretty formidable then from Lewis Riley. Then that is, what is 0.8 of a second or so then ahead of his next challenger of Vessia, and both of them then are in a bit of a fight then. Is that an indication of the track improving out there as well then? Potentially we will see. Evening all, says Mushroom as well then. Get well, Nigel, says Ginger Asian. I said that a bit aggressively though. I think he meant get well, Nigel, was in a very kind and nice gesture, but I didn't say it that way. Sorry, Ginger Asian, for reading out your comments the wrong way there. Evening all, good luck. Silver says Howsey as well then. Of course he's going to be competing here tomorrow night then in bronze as well then, and Mushroom washed. Oh, there's a nice clean mushroom there, which is nice from Ginger Age there. Ginger Age hasn't washed. Oh dear. That's good. Or it's not good, but there we are. So there we go. Good stuff indeed. Gordo's jumped up to P2. I completely missed it because I was reading out the comment section, but 47.4 then for Gordo. Puts himself on the front row of the grid, and that is looking pretty impressive. Then Gordo's done had a few good performances in qualifying and in the races then this season. Then a bit sporadic then, but hopefully this time he can turn it around. Then Moranov's gone fastest with a 46.7 then, and that's put him on pole position by 0.2 of a second ahead of Lewis Riley then on his first outing as well here. So that's not looking too shabby indeed there for Moranov. But Tori's improved even more than a 46.8 then for the Aston Martin with that very bright pink helmet, and looking good indeed then on pole position then is Tori as well then. So that's going to be very interesting stuff indeed. It looks like maybe the track's starting to improve, as my goodness me, it definitely is improving, because Farf is P5 with a 47.3, then slothed up into P4 sorry, with a 47.0, and Lewis Riley's gone faster still by a second almost than it was previously a second, because Duke's got himself up into P2. Then Lewis Riley back on pole position as well then with a 45.5. Then the times are tumbling down because we started on the 49s, didn't we? So they've got a lot faster in this qualifying session as it has gone on. So we might see some surprises later on in this qualifying session as well then. We'll wait and see. I'm not doing a good job of tracking who is crossing the line next, to be honest, am I? But we've got a racing ball, and that's the racing ball then of Gordo. Then let's see what Gordo's up to. He's currently P7 with a 47.4. Let's see if we sliding that back in once again. Then up to the line, it's going to be a 45.7. Then for P2, then for Gordo. Fantastic stuff indeed. Then the track definitely rubbering in here, and maybe the conditions getting a bit lighter out there as well. Then, which is going to be great news indeed for these drivers as well. Then Vessia 45.1, then puts himself back on pole position. And then for the Alpine machine, then he's in a bit of a fight then for that pole position as Kaido jumps up to P5 with a 46.3. Then the time's tumbling down here then in the US of A. Maranov back in the pit lane. Farth also back in the pits as well then for the Kick Sauber team, so they're calling it a day then on these intermediate tyres. Then what is the Williams of KD going to have to say then at his home Grand Prix? Then KD is going to do a 47.1, then puts himself P9 then on his first outing in qualifying here. Good stuff indeed. Gamer up in P5 with a 46.1 then. He is 1 second away from that pole position then, but of course we have seen some improvements in this qualifying session as times have been tumbling down, so we might see some more improvements for those. Oh, we've got a car off the grid. No, car off the circuit then. That's no, it's not Duke. Duke is coming through then into the final corner then to finish off a lap, I think that is, but let's see what Duke is up to then in the Williams car then. I think he's just starting a lap actually because he's done a 49.2 there, but we'll come back to that one. Lewis Riley then, previous pole sitter, was in the previous pole sitter candidate, I should say, is now in the pits. R2B onto the front row with a 49.3 then for the Aston Martin, then looking strong out there. Then Mad Max has jumped up to P5 with a 45.7. And I can't keep up with it really, to be fair. We've got an Aston, no, not, we've got a Ferrari. It's a Ferrari then of Irvine then as we head through then into the final corner then for his first lap time on the board. And what's it going to be then for the Irvine then up to the line? It's going to be a 47.7 with itself P15. He didn't use much battery there, I should say. So maybe just getting his eye in there as well. Then we'll wait and see. Oh, slow car then, that's KD. KD's having a bit of a problem there, so he's going very slowly then into the hairpin. Vessia's gone faster still with a 44.7 now, so the time's now into the 44s here in the USA. Then they're tumbling down then, of course, 5 seconds faster than the previous time as KD's retired on the circuit. Fantastic. So it's not going well for the hometown hero then as well then, so we'll come back to that one as R2, no, it's not R2B, it's his teammate of R2B. Where is the Aston Martin? That is Torrey then into the pit lane and is calling it a day there. Gamer then is coming through then into the final corner. I think he's validating his lap. He's going to start again then for the Mercedes driver, I should say. Pot Stuff also coming through as well. Then we've got Sweet MJP, who's jumped up to P8 then with a 46.1 then for the Haas team as well. Good stuff indeed then at their home Grand Prix, I should say, as well. Good stuff as well there for the Haas team. Then here comes the Duke then currently P6. Then can he find some more time? Then up to the line, it's going to be a 44.2 to put himself on pole position here then for the USA Grand Prix, and looking comfortable indeed. But can Vessia? No, it's not Vessia, it's going to be Mad Max into the pit lane. So unfortunately Mad Max cannot improve on his next time. Then there's only 5 minutes left of the qualifying session to go here. We've got a Ferrari of Irvine then coming through. Let's see what Irvine's up to as we head into the penultimate corner now. Then that back end stepping out for Ferrari, and then here he comes then into that final turn. Then the Italian car then at the USA. Then let's see what it's going to be for Irvine. It's going to be a 45.8, puts himself P7 here in Texas. Then good stuff indeed. I think Farth or Kamara Racer, one of them has just started a lap. Then we go through. We've got Maranov then, who's down to P12 then after that 46.7. Then we put him on pole position temporarily then, but unfortunately the time's tumbling down then, have promoted or demoted him down to P12. But we'll see if he can bounce back then in that McLaren. Then we've got a Kamara Racer, and Kamara Racer races up to P2, then onto the front row with a 44.5 then for Kick Sauber. Then brilliant stuff indeed, and puts himself then very comfortably on the front row of the grid then as it stands. That's as it stands then, because there's still 4 minutes, and it's definitely drying out a bit out there. So it's going to be improving then in terms of the space, in terms of the pace and the space out there as well. Then so looking good indeed. Then here comes Gamer. Then can he improve on that 46.1? Then he has improved to a 44.1, and he's got himself pole position as it stands then. And his teammate Pot Stuff then is a 44.5, puts himself P3. So Mercedes then looking strong then in the closing stages of this qualifying session as well. Very fantastic. had a sniffle, did they say? Oh dear, somebody's having a bit of a sniffle then in the comment section. Goodness me, tomorrow racer then P4 as we go through then Irvine then down to P10. But can he improve on this next lap then? I don't think he's harvesting a bit of battery there, and he's pulled over to the side then to get out of the way then as well. And so I think he's going to be looking to improve on his next appearance. As here comes Moranov, then he is looking to improve on P14 currently. Then the championship leader then is looking to get himself back in the mix as well as we go around the long right-hander here, which is technically more than one turn, but not going to count it as more than one turn there. Into the penultimate corner then for Moranov. That back end has gone then, and he has lost the time then. Unfortunately, he's kept control of the car very well though, as goodness me, Farf is on pole position here then for the USA Grand Prix, a 44-0 for Farf then. Terrifying scenes if that's going to be the case then, but we'll crack on then. But Farf then looking good indeed then on pole position for Kick Sauer, and that is fantastic. Yes, we'll see if he stays there then, but very good stuff indeed. If he probably wants a red flag right now, doesn't he? So yeah, I'm not sure if that's going to be the case there, but hopefully the red flags have been turned off then in this session. But there we go then. Aston Martin then of R2B about to start off another lap. Then we've got a Red Bull right behind him as well. Then where is that Red Bull? That is the real Fig, who is of course reserving in the Red Bull tonight then, and he's going to start off another lap. Then I think a few drivers then are just filtering out of the pits, and then to finish off the qualifying session then Gamer then has harvested a lot of battery then to go again I think on another attempt. Then he's got quite old intermediate compound tyres on that Mercedes, and can he try and take that pole position back? That is the question. Pot Stuff then has started off a new lap as well then for the other Mercedes car. And we've got an Alpine then of Vessia then finishing off an outlap, I should say. Goodness me. I think that's Potster. No, I think that's Gamer then coming back into the pit lane. Is he? No, he's not. He's going back on the circuit then, but he's having a bit of a slow time out there then on his cool down lap, that is, and back underway now as well. Then good stuff indeed. Then Farf then coming through into sector 3. Then has he got enough time to go again? Then he's not got much battery, or not much fuel, I should say, to go again then here. So he might. We'll have to wait and see. I think he's run out of fuel actually there, unfortunately, then for Farf then, so he's going to have to come back into the pit lane. That might be costly indeed. I'm not sure he's got time. There's yellow flags out there then, but so I can't see what's going on in terms of the timing sessions out there, but we'll come back to that. Farf retires in the pit lane, so that indicates there's not much time left. Then here comes Moranov, sorry I should say. Then he's starting off a lap then, going again. Then where's the Haas pair? Then Sweet and Repeat back to start off a lap. He's had a bit of a problem there. He's I think invalid. No, he hasn't. He's good to go again. Then good stuff indeed. Then Debo Croft then is following him through. Then his teammate Irvine then starting off another lap as well. Then we've got only a few seconds left then of the qualifying session. And where is Kydell? There he is. Kydell then is about to start off a lap as well then. So we'll come back to all of that. There's a lot of laps just being started, I think. And as they get to the checkered flag, then it's about to fall in 20 seconds time then, and R2 Pete's done a 43.9, puts himself P1 then for the Aston Martin team. My goodness me. Don't think so. Cheers Kiki as well. Kiki said good luck silver as well. Then he didn't have one in the event league, possibly thinking he's had one in the 100%. Miss Panov, goodness me, that's very harsh. Right, and if Farf gets points, bronze could be safe from him, says Mushroom, sorry. Farf then says Ginger Asian, he needs at least needs a fourth. Come on, Farf, says Mushroom as well. Then. Alright, I've missed all of it then, as Vessi has gone fastest with a 42.8 then on pole position. Gamer then on the front row with a 43.6 as well then for Mercedes. Who is next across the line is the question. Then it's a McLaren then of Moranov then. Where is he then? He's in sector 3. The rain I think has actually stopped here then, so there are going to be a bit of wet patches on the circuit then. Oh dear, careful. But yeah, there's going to be some wet patches out there, but it looks like it's going to be nice and dry then. So the last drivers across the line could find a big improvement here as we go through then into the final quarter for Moranov. Then can he get himself back on pole position? His championship lead depends on it as well. Then he's P2 with a 42.8 as well. Then only a few thousandths in it as well then to Vessia there. Good stuff indeed. Right, then Irvine is next across the line. Then here he comes around the final corner. Then for Ferrari. Then can he improve then on P12? Then he can. It's P4 then for Irvine. Then that back end is not too happy with him though on that final corner, is it there? But we go through. We come through nonetheless. Then Kydell P8 then with a 44.1. Then good stuff indeed. We're going to have Duke jump up to P1 with a 42.2 though in the Williams car. Then fantastic stuff indeed. Sloth P4 with a 42.8. Then puts himself on the second row of the grid. As it stands then, Mad Max improves to P5 with a 43.5 as well. Then goodness me. They're all tumbling in now. Then Moranov in P4 in the McLaren there. Where is the next driver to cross the line is the question. I can't find him. Real Fig then up into P13. We've got Lewis Riley then who jumps up to P2 with a 42.5 as well. Then on the front row of the grid then as it stands. But can the Hasses do something about that? And Sweet P is back in the pit lane. Dubo Croc is on an outlap again. Oh no, he's not. He finished. I think that's qualifying done and dusted there, so goodness me, that's that then for the USA Grand Prix qualify. Of course, we've got the race coming up then in just a few moments' time, but Duke then is going to be on pole position for the USA Grand Prix then. Fantastic qualifying indeed then. PG Ginge. I've got a wet patch, says Ginger Age. Goodness me. Right then, fantastic stuff indeed, and a bit of a field spread in those wet conditions then, especially when it dries up towards the end, creates a bit of havoc, doesn't it, there as well then as we go through then into the race itself. Then it's now finished raining, I think, in qualifying at least, and hopefully we'll wait and see if it's going to be raining in the Grand Prix as well. But there we are then. That is the classification for the qualifying then as we get ourselves ready for the Grand Prix itself. 0.3 of a second then for Duke then in front of Lewis Riley then on the front row with then Tori then P3, Vestia P4, then Moranov P5, then Sloth P6, Mad Max in P7, Gamer in P8, Irvine in P9, R2 Beat in P10 for the Aston Martin driver. Then Farf P11 in the end. That 44.0 was pretty good in the end. Did get him on pole position temporarily. Then Potstaff P12, Kydell P13, Real Fig P14, Kamara P15, Gordo P16, Sweet P17, KD P18, Debo Croc P19, and Marky then, unfortunately, he's been a naughty boy, had a qualifying ban. Right then, we'll be back in 2 seconds before we get the race underway. Right then, we are just about to get the qualifying, the race, underway. Then we've done the qualifying. We're on to the race itself now, and there we are. Then, just in time. I think KD's had some sort of issue then because he's not. He's DNF'd already. Then, goodness me. Well, that's a problem. So we'll have a look at that then later on. Then has he moved off the grid? I don't know if he has or not, to be honest. But yes, okay, we'll crack on. So we've got medium compound tyres for the majority of the field here. Then, apart from a few who've opted for the hard compound tyres, not a soft compound tyre in sight here in Texas, which is probably a good thing because it's probably a bit dangerous then going on the soft compound tyres because they won't last very long around here. Although the possible race strategy predicts a soft, medium then, but maybe not is the prediction from myself. But there we go then, as we go through then into the formation lap. Then Duke, then our pole sitter, then leads the way on medium compound tyres. Lewis Riley in P2 has opted for the hard compound tyre here, so that's going to be interesting stuff indeed. Then if he can, I think KD has. He has moved off the grid, hasn't he? So Lewis Riley then starting on the hard compound tyres, the highest of the hard compound runners. Medium compound tyres for Tori in P3. All the way down to R2 Beat, his teammate in P10 then. So both Aston Martins on the medium compound tyre. Farf then P11, hard compound tyres for the Kick Sauber driver. Then Potstaff also on the mediums, as is Kaido and Real Fig then in P12 down to 14th. Then Kamara races then. So both Kick Sauber starting on the hard compound tyres for the green machines. So that's interesting stuff indeed. Then Gordo on the mediums, as is Sweet MGP. Then KD, unfortunately, we can't see. But he's, I think he's there because he's there's nobody parked on the grid or anything there, so hopefully he's all right. Debo Croc then in P19. He's on the hard compound tyres for the Haas team, and Markey in the McLaren, sorry, is on the hard compound tyres then in P20 as well. There. So good stuff indeed. we get ourselves lined up on the grid, and we will have a look at the position changes as we start off the USA Grand Prix here in Texas. And Ginger Strat is the W, so good stuff indeed. Soft, medium, medium, the Ginger Strat, says Serious Mushroom. Okay, so there we are then. Nobody has opted for the Ginger Age Strat then, as we get ourselves parked up on the grid to get ourselves started here in Texas as well then. In dry, yes, says Mushroom as well then. Right, good stuff. We can crack on, I think. Can we? Duke has left the session then. Goodness me, what is going on here then? The 5 red lights are on in USA then. The 5 red lights are out. Duke has teleported off the grid then. Where has he gone then? What is going on here then? Duke has been disqualified, and Tori's inherited the lead of the Grand Prix, I think, then, as we go in towards turn 1 then. My goodness me. And he's gone wide then at turn 1. At back end stepping out then. Lewis Riley's going to swoop through then. And he takes the lead of the Grand Prix then into the S's section. Then we've got Vessia then trying to stick his nose in as well then. Yellow flags in the background. That's Real Fig then. Kamara Racers had an issue, I think, there as we go through now into sector 2. Then it's a good start indeed then for the top of the order, I believe, but I'm not quite sure what happened there to Duke then. He seemed to teleport off the start, and I think KD's also out of the Grand Prix as well then. So wow, what a start there as well. The Gordo and the Haas pair are having a bit of a ding dong battle. Down the inside goes the Haas of Depot Croc. And Sweet NJP has made contact with his teammate there, and Potstuff's gained a place as well. Then he's gained a penalty, I should say. Then 10-second place for 10-second penalty for corner cutting for Potstuff there. And both the Hasses have been in a bit of a battle as well. Then Kamara Racing split the pair of them now as we go through then into sector 3 now. Tori then got himself past Vessia into P2. Potstuff picking up that penalty as well. Then goodness me. And as we head through then, we've got Tori then trying to put the pressure on Lewis Riley. Then medium compound tyres been much better at this point of the Grand Prix than compared to the hard compound tyres. It's taken a while to warm up then for Lewis Riley, that is. But we head through now into the final part of lap 1. And 18 drivers remain then, of course. KD and out of the session then, I think in qualifying actually. And Duke then having some sort of technical difficulties on the start there as well then. So, dearie me. As we head through now onto lap 2, then DRS now enabled then, but Tori doesn't want DRS. He's going to go for the move then into turn 1. Then he's got the inside line then on the medium compound tyres. He takes the lead of the Grand Prix. Has he gone a bit deep though? And he takes the lead. I think, yes, he holds on to the lead this time as well. The good stuff indeed for the Aston Martin. He's going to be under pressure now from the likes of Tori then, the likes of Lewis Riley then, and the likes of Vessia, who are pushing then through the S's section. My goodness me, what's going on there then as we head through then into sector 2. Then Vessia looking to make a move on the Alpine, on the Ferrari, but couldn't quite make that stick. Then Morano then putting the pressure on Sloth. Then he's up 2 places then in the Red Bull car, then looking good indeed. Then Potstuff's pick up a 3-second penalty as well out here. Then Irvine then has got himself a 3-second penalty as well, it looks like there, but he's up into, he's down into P10 I should say. He's lost 1 place, then same for Mad Max. He's lost 2 places. Then Real Figures lost 4 places unfortunately for the Red Bull driver. Morano has passed Sloth then and out in the lead, and look at this, it's almost 3 wide then heading into the hairpin then, and we go through then, and Vessia's taken the lead, or has he, as Lewis Riley covers him off then, and Morano's gone deep in the background there as well, then heading into sector 3, then Lewis Riley then down round the outside, not quite then, and Vessia I think has taken the lead now, and Tori then trying to get his nose in there too as we head into the depths of sector 3, and this is where it gets challenging as we go through here as well then, but I think Lewis Riley has held on to P2 then, and Vessia up into P1 then in the Alpine. Then he's got himself up 3 places then in the opening 2 laps here. Wow. My goodness me then. So those hard compound tyres still struggling, I think, then for Lewis Riley there, but he's holding on very nicely indeed. He's down back to where he started then. Oh dear, as Tori's back in, stepping out all over the place there as well. That's going to open the door for Moranov to try and sneak through then along this main straight then in towards turn 1. And he has done as well then, but I think Sloth then is looking to get his nose there as well then. He has got himself up into P4 then, has Sloth then. Tori then struggling with the back end then on that as Real Fig set the fastest out of the Grand Prix then. Good stuff indeed then, Real Fig. Then hopefully he can get himself back in this race as well there. And crack on then as well. Then Moranov up into P3, then he's past 2, and now he's got himself into the podium places. Then Tori and Sloth then have switched places then in a very uncharacteristic overtaking place there, but Tori then back up into P4, and now Sloth is being chased by Gamer, by R2 Beat, by Farth, who's up into 8th place as well. Then Mad Max is coming through, then Irvine is very close in proximity as well, then they're all close in proximity I should say, and Sweet MJP there is a fantastic shot, but I missed it as we go through into the hairpin. There's going to be a bit of argy-bargy there as well. Then Irvine one's gone wide as well then at the exit of that hairpin as well. So you've got some DRS now to play with, but I think Kaido's going to try and sneak through here. Oh my god, it's yes, I can't keep up with it all as we go through then into the hairpin again. Then at the end of the straight there, Slav's gone wide. Then it's going to be 3 wide into here. Then goodness me, then Tori going to go around the outside. And Kamara Race has got a 3-second penalty. Then Tori has got himself up into P4, then passing Sloth as well. Then R2 beat P6, then Gamer's down to P7. No, he's not, because Gamer's fighting with R2 beat here. And we go into the into sector 3, and Gamer's lost out to Farf, or has Farf got himself into a bit of compromise then as we got the inside, then into the penultimate corner, then Farf holds on. My goodness me. All this fighting has got themselves, has got the top 3, a 2-second gap then to P4 of Tori, then Sloth then in P5, R2 beat P6, then Farf in P7, then Gamer in P8, and Mad Max in P9. But we might see some more chopping and changing as Kaido and Irvine having a battle once again. Then into turn 1, then there's more battle going on ahead. There's contact, then I think that's a Mercedes. Is that a Mercedes of Gamer? He's got himself back on the way quickly enough, I didn't see it. So there we go, good stuff indeed, as Mad Max and Irvine are having a bit of a ding-dong battle as well. Then going through into the S's section, not where you want to be fighting. Then the Farf has got a 3-second penalty. Then unfortunately we might see a few more penalties coming this way in this Grand Prix as well, to be fair. Then hard compound tyres for Farf though, and he is looking pretty strong then on this first part of the stint then, I should say. Heading through then into the hairpin once again. Then we've got a 3-way battle now for the race leaders. Tori unfortunately is split away from the pack then with all the battling going on with the Sloth and R2 beat and Gamer as well. It's chaos. I think I've used up all my Monday internet, all my Monday luck. Sorry, I didn't mean to say that, but there we go. So, goodness me. Sloth then up into P4, then passing Tori, then into the hairpin. Then we've got R2 beat and Farf having a bit of a battle. Then Farf's gone well off the track there, but I think R2 beat also went off the track too. Sloth then holds on to, Tori holds on to P4, then Farf then up into P6, passing Aston Martin of R2 beat, then into sector 3. And it won't be long before the hard compound tyres, I need to switch over to the tyre, don't I? It won't be long before the hard compound tyres become the better tyre then in this Grand Prix as well then. So we'll wait and see then. R2B trying to get that place back then all over the back of that kick salve as we head into the penultimate corner. Not quite then as well then as we go through then on to lap 5. And here comes Lewis Riley, then here comes Vessia, here comes Moranov as well then as they storm through towards that turn 1. Oh, storm up towards that turn 1 I should say then. And here comes Sloth as well then. Can Sloth challenge into turn 1 for that P4 position? Not quite then. He stays P5. Stays behind for now then. Pot Stuff and R2B. Oh, that's close indeed. Pot Stuff has snuck through then to P7 then in the Mercedes, then ahead of the Aston Martin just about then as well as we go through then. It's calmed down a bit out here, which is nice, but there we are. I think everyone is in a bit of a pack then, right, well, literally right in a bit of a pack, all apart from the top 3 then who are absolutely flying away then at this point in the Grand Prix. Then of course we'll have to wait and see then what the tyre situation is going to be like. Then as Tori is really struggling out there with the medium compound tyre I should say. Then Kaido picks up a penalty as well then out here. Penalties starting to roll in then for the silver drivers as we go through then on to lap 5 now as well then. Here comes Sloth. Gamer's got a penalty as well then. Penalties are racking up all over the place out here as well then. So we'll come back to that one towards the end of the Grand Prix. That's going to be a bit spicy indeed. There's the top 3 then having a bit of a battle then of their own. Then we'll come back to that because we'll come and have a look at this as we go through. Lewis Riley then trying to get himself past but not quite then, and Vessia holds on to the lead of the Grand Prix, or does he? No, he has done, I think, just about, but Lewis Riley almost pushing him through the corners as we go into sector 3. Sloth now having a P4 I should say. Then he's got himself past Tori with the aid of some DRS then into that, onto that back straight, and now can he try and motor along? Then he's got 3 seconds to find to catch up to the top 2, top 3 I should say. Then goodness me, then Kaido has passed 300 people, but he's unfortunately got a 3-second penalty for his troubles there, and I think has got an illegal overtake. He's let him back through. Then Kamara Racer and Markey having a bit of a fight as well then as we go into the penultimate corner. Then Markey then is up into P16 from P20 on the grid, and he's got damage I think to that right end plate then. Yes, he does. That right end plate missing then for the McLaren, unfortunately. And Debo Croc then waiting in the wings as well then for the Haas driver. Then we've got Real Fig actually catching up to the pack as well, I should say. So fair play to Real Fig cracking on then in this race as well here. We might see some pit stops starting to unfold then in the next 4 or 5 laps or so, I would imagine. We'll wait and see then as we got Kamara Racer and Markey. Then this time Markey is through then up into P15. Kamara Racer then is down to P16, but of course these two on the hop, he's lost an end plate as well then, goodness me. So both of them are racing without end plates then at some point of the car, or some sort of the car. Then goodness me as we go through then Tori and Farf. I missed it completely, but Farf has got himself through and into P5 now for the kick Sauber driver as well. Then goodness me. So Mushroom said he needed to get a 4th. no, Ginger Age said he needed to get fourth, then he's on for a fight for fourth, actually, as we head down the back straight here. But Tory looking to get that place back. He's got some more battery then, I think, and the kick salvage to go into the hairpin. Then he's got himself back up into P5 then, and it stays status quo there as well then, or does it? Because I think Tory then trying to get a move done on Sloth as well, and now down the inside goes Farf on his hard compound tyres. He's got the move done, or has he got the move done? And Tory then decides to dive back through. Oh dear, that's going to be close indeed. And Tory then has traction as well. Then there's contact then with Farf. Then Tory's off the circuit. Then he's gone back through. He's made contact with his teammate as well. Then he's gone for a spin. And there's an Alpine involved in that as well. Oh my God then. And, well, that was, yes, you could see it coming, didn't you? But unfortunately, Tory then and Mad Max then have come a cropper in that race, in that part of the race, I should say. Of course, they've still got time to get themselves back in the race. But unfortunately, they're both carrying on as well, I think they're so fair play indeed. I think they just need to get a few more laps under their belt then to make the one-stop a warranted strategy then. Tory then is back underway, but he's having a bit of a problem then moving that car around then. I think a bit of frustration then with whatever happened there. Farf's picked up a penalty, I should say, then, goodness me, as we crack on then into lap 7 of 28, the quarterway point then of the Grand Prix. And this is where we might start to think about some pit stops then coming our way then. 4.5 seconds, the gap then between the top three then and Sloth. Here he comes then as Farf, then they're chasing him down. The penalty is starting to rack up for Farf and a few other drivers out there as well, to be fair. Now onto the back straight then. This is where Farf needs to attack then with the aid of some DRS then and some battery, but he didn't have much battery to play with then, did he, with the advances of Tory as well then in the previous lap. Then can he make the move then on Sloth then for P4? We can't see from this camera angle really. Yes we can, now we can't, no we can't, there we go, good stuff. Farf then cannot make the move. There's once again more contact there as well then, I think, but thankfully I think they've got themselves through unscathed, or have they then, because I think Sloth's starting to struggle on those medium compound tyres. He's opening the door here and there for Farf in sector 3, and we've got Potstuff then waiting in the wings as well then for some more action, and hopefully there's no more action like that then into this corner as well then. But heading through, and we've got yellow flags again then. Yellow flags, it's for Gordo, I think. Then Gordo's had an issue, then he's got off the circuit then at sector 3, then he's back underway, but unfortunately that car has been spun around then. And I think it's just the same sort of place then as we go. Pit stops then for R2B. Then R2B is the first driver to call it a day then on his medium compound tyres on to lap 8. Can he do 20 laps on the hards is the question. We will find out now then. Styles said Farf for driving bronze next season. Good stuff indeed. Penalty Festival says Styles as well then. Yes, it looks like it out there. R2B has dropped down the order then. He has dropped down to P18 then. Unfortunately, KD didn't take the start then, and Duke then was on the grid then for the 5 red lights, but unfortunately teleported out of the grid and the game gave him a disqualification for that. So unfortunately for Duke then, he's out of the race as well. Then both of them out before the race even started, to be honest. But there we go then. The top 3 then are waiting in the wings, and here comes Moranov. He's on a charge, then he's right behind Lewis Riley then for that P2 position. Then he's harvesting battery as we go through then, but he's still putting the pressure on then as we go into the hairpin. Then let's see what's going to happen here. Lewis Riley's gone a bit defensive then, but he's held on to P2 for the time being. And here we come then for Farf then and Sloth into the same corner, then flying through then into sector 3. Then Farf takes P4, then Sloth then is under pressure now from Potstuff, but he holds on to P5 as we go through then now into sector 3 on lap 8 of 28. We're not just there, not yet there, I should say, but nearly there. So right then, Farf on the hard compound tyres. Can he try and give a gap then to Sloth now as well? Then those medium compound tyres are starting to struggle. R2B has already called it a day on his medium compound tyres and pitted then at the end of lap 7. Then will we see some more pit stops then at the end of lap 8? No. Oh yes, never mind then, ignore me. Gamer is calling it a day then on his medium compounds as well. Then so is Sweet MJP. So Mercedes and Haas then into the pit lane. Then Irvine carries on. Markey carries on. He's now up into P8. Then starting from the back of the grid. Then Debo Croc then up into P10. Then Kydale carries on as well. His medium compound tyres. Real Fig stays out as well there for the Red Bull team. Mad Max also staying out as well, and Gamer then onto the medium compound tyres again then for Gamer. Then that might be a bit of a strategy error. Then we'll wait and see. Maybe he's doing Sean Strat in reverse then as well, and then going medium soft then for Gamer. Then that will be interesting stuff indeed. Of course, they haven't used any soft compound tyres in. Oh dear, they haven't used any soft compound tyres in the qualifying, of course, have they? Because they Had a bit of a wet session, didn't they? But R2Beat then snuck through then at the exit of turn 1 and is up into P15, of course, then. So Gamer then is going to be stuck behind R2Beat for a bit of a sector or two before he can use some DRS to try and get himself through. But R2Beat catching up now to Gordo as well. Then Gordo's had that spin there, but he's carrying on out there and looking strong as well. Then hopefully he can get himself to the pit lane, to the pit window, I should say. Then as Potstuff passes Sloth then for P5 then. And Marquis passes Irvine as well then for P7. And up, oh dear, Irvine giving a bit of a nudge through the corner there, but or it looked like it, but they've got themselves through unscathed. Marky now having a P7 on the hard compound tyres. Kamara Racer picked up a penalty as well. Then goodness me, the penalties are rolling in as Gamer has passed Gordo. Then R2Beat's also passed Gordo as well. Then he's gone deep there as well. Then and now open the door for Gamer to try and sneak through into sector 3. Then round the outside. Or can he? Yes, I think he can. I think he can. He can. Good stuff indeed then. Well done indeed then from Gamer as well. Then up into P14. Of course, fresh medium compound tyres. Then he has got himself through. Then he's got a bit of a race on now because, of course, he looks like he's going to be doing a two-stop strategy then for Gamer. So maybe he's been forced into that. I'm sure he's not. I'm sure he knows what he's doing then out there, but I don't. So that's why I'm confused. But there we go. Then Gordon then unfortunately going to have to make a pit stop very soon as well. Then Tory then is also on the hard compound tyres as well for the Aston Martin driver. Then fair play indeed to hoping himself back in this race. And if there's any safety cars or things like that, then that could bring him back into the fold as well. Then, but so far so good. And there's Gordo then and Sweet into turn 1. Then Sweet has snuck through on his hard compound tyres up into P16 now as well. Then. So, Lewis Riley then is still stuck in P2 then. Those hard compound tyres have not been powerful enough to get himself through then compared to the old mediums now for Vessia and Morano. They've all been holding station then so far in the previous laps or so then. Potstuff now putting the challenge on Farf then, but of course he's on the medium compound tyres as well, and those will start to drop off soon, but Potstuff might be able to make a move for P4 then here into Sector 3, and he has swooped through then into Sector 3 up into P4 then as well. Then, oh dear, he's gone deep as well then. There's a few drivers doing that as we go through into Sector 3 now. And Farf, oh dear, there's contact there as well then, goodness me. And on the exit then there's going to be more contact as well then. Oh no, not quite, they managed to avoid it. Well, that was close. And again on the exit, just get it done, would you? There we are, then good stuff indeed. Potstuff up into P4. But of course, he might be thinking about a pit stop as well then. A pit stop for Potstuff then coming up soon, we'd expect. But Farf then up into P5. Is going to be soldiering on a bit longer on those hard compound tyres. We would imagine that is 6 seconds. The gap then as Potstuff's had an issue out of the final corner, and then that's lost him top the position back to Farf. Then Farf motoring along. He's got DRS as well, then up into P4, back up into P4, I should say, and brought Sloth back into play as well, potentially. Then medium runners then still staying out then out here. Mad Max is in the pits, then Game to set the fastest lap of the Grand Prix on these medium compound tyres and powering along as well then. So Mad Max then calling it a day on his medium compound tyres, going for the hard compound tyre, hopefully to the end of the Grand Prix from here. Tory set the fastest lap of the Grand Prix as well, then great stuff indeed from Tory, then hopefully hold on to that point as well, then potentially getting himself into the top 10 for another point or two, and Gordo onto the hard compound tyres then as well for the Racing Bull team. Push Farf, bronze is not worthy, says Serious Mush. Right then, good stuff. Right, we crack on then. Lap 11 then, the top 3 then still status quo. Lewis then shaping for a move then, but he's a bit too far back then. Tory's got a 3-second penalty then as we go through then into Sector 3 for the leaders. 6 seconds then, we've got Potstuff then trying to get himself back past Farf, of course, after they had their escapades. Then Kamara Racer has passed Irvine then for P8. And now we've got Debo as well then into the challenge as well. Then, of course, he's on the hard compound tyres, so they will be not as bad as the medium compound tyres then for now. Real Fig as well got himself back in contention as well. Then Kydell is holding on then as well on the back of that Red Bull as well. The Gamer catching up then on the medium compound tyres. Of course, he has pitted for another set of medium compound tyres, but he's used mediums twice now, so he's going to have to think about what he's going to be doing. And the next part of the strategy, then that back end stepping out as well. Then R2Beat looking to get himself interested in that as well. Then into the pits comes Vessia then from the race lead. And he's calling it a day now on his medium compound tyres as well here. Hard compound tyres going on then, that would suggest he's going to the end of the Grand Prix. We've also got Sloth into the pits as well then for the Red Bull team. Then it's going to be mediums to hards as well for Sloth then to the end of the race here as well then, out of the grid, out of the pits I should say. I think he's going to be ahead just about then of of Tory then, of course. Tory's done a great job actually of catching up then in this race because he's done a couple more laps then on his hard compound tyres, but he's got himself back in contention potentially as well then, because he's not going to be too far behind Slough, and Slough's got to warm those hard compound tyres up as well then as we head through then into lap 12. So Lewis Riley inherits the lead then. Moranov now his closest challenger, of course. Moranov is on medium compound tyres as well, and so we'll have to think about pitting as well at some point in the near future. Both of them harvesting energy and going down into sector 3. Yes, we'll stay as we are then for that one as well. Then Potstuff's dropped off the back then of Farf. Then Farf now on the hard compound tyres, probably indicating that this is where the medium compound tyre is dropping off then, because Farf then has got himself a gap. Then Debo Croc has passed Irvine for P7. Or has he? Because he's, oh dear, that car's gone off the circuit. Then Irvine could try and sneak his way back through into sector 3. Then has he done it? Yes, he has then. And Debo then has lost out then back to Irvine as well. Then Irvine's up into P7 again then after Debo then just went a bit too late on the brakes there, but he got the car slowed down quickly enough then to at least maintain position then after all of that. And Real Fig couldn't sneak through then. Real Fig's back in the DRS here as well, which is good stuff indeed as we head through then onto lap 13. Any more pit stops then? Potstuff's in the pits then for the Mercedes team, then calling it a day on his medium compound tyres. Then I think we've got Kydell also in the pit lane. That's a bit of a slow pit entry then for Kydell, but he's got himself underway anyway. Good stuff indeed then. So Vessia now is going to catch up to this pack then of yet to pit then as well. Then Vessia then on the hard compound tyres then he's going to have a bit of traffic to try and get through here because there's a bit of a combination as well then of medium compound tyres and hard compound tyres in this pack as well. Then Gordo's got a 3-second motor. Then Kydell coming out of the pit lane in P15, or no, it's going to be P16 behind Mad Max then as well. Then Potstuff going to be P17 here as we head through then on to lap 13 as well then. So there we go then. Of course, there's going to be a bit of a difference then in the tyre compound then towards the end of this Grand Prix. We might see some more chopping and changing towards the end of lap 28, and I might see some chopping and changing for the lead of the Grand Prix then here as we go through then into the hairpin. Then Lewis really doesn't need to fight this too much then, because of course he knows that Moranov's going to have to pit very soon, and Lewis then down to P2 then as well. Then Vessia has passed Real Fig then for that P8 position. Then Debo's got himself past Irvine, I think this time then, or has he? Yes, he has this time. It's done and dusted, and Gamer has passed Real Fig as well then on his medium compound tyres as well. Therefore the Mercedes driver then, good stuff indeed. Of course his medium compound tyres are a lot younger than the Red Bull cars as well as we go through. And R2B trying to sneak down the inside there. Can he make the move then? That back end stepping out, that could put Real Fig back in contention then, but not quite. Then R2B holds on to P10 for the time being. Into the pits comes Moranov then from the race lead. Then he's got himself off those, will get himself off those medium compound tyres to put himself on a hard compound tyre to the end of the Grand Prix here. And oh, it's a slow stop then for the McLaren. Then what's, oh no, it's not, never mind. Ignore me then. Never mind. Real Fig also in the pit lane calling it a day on his medium compound tyres. I think everybody apart from Irvine has done so, and Irvine is under a bit of pressure now. He's in a bit of a mix then as well then for those drivers as we go through then down the hill then at turn 1 then. R2B next to try his luck to get himself past. Then Real Fig coming out of the pit lane then will be behind Mad Max. He might be just ahead then of Kydell. Then we'll wait and see as we come out of the pit lane now, and it's going to be close then into turn 1 between the Red Bull and the Racing Bull then as we go through then into that first turn. And Real Fig then is P15. He's ahead then of the Racing Bull just about then, and Potstuff catching up as well. Then Gordo then fair play indeed for Gordo, and soldiering on up there as well then in this Grand Prix then. Marky then, the top, where are we? The top 5 yet to pit in this Grand Prix. Farf is actually P2. My goodness me then. Lewis Riley then 6 seconds ahead then in the Ferrari. Then he's currently leading the Grand Prix, of course, looking quite comfortable out there on the hard compound tyres. He maintained position then as Vessia has passed Debo then for P5. Then R2B has passed Irvine as well then into sector 3 and up into P8 then for R2B. Could have podium beyond the cards then for the Aston Martin driver. Then we'll wait and see. It's all a strategy game out here at the moment, isn't it? If we go through then lap 14, soon to be lap 15 actually. Mathematically that's quite correct, but there we go then as Potstuff and Kydell then have switched places into sector 3 as well. Then Potstuff under P16 now, and we go through now on to lap 15 then. So the leaders of course staying out as they would do, I would imagine, on the hard compound tyres. They've got to get another few laps then under their belts. Marky then is coming through then. Kamara Racer is calling it a day then on his hard compound tyres. And I'm sure he'll be going for medium compound tyres. And Irvine's also pitting for the opposite way. That he's done 14 laps then on his mediums there, which is a fantastic stint indeed. But he is going to be on he'll be on much fresher hard compound tyres to the end of the Grand Prix. but unfortunately he's going to cost himself a few places then at the end of this stint as well then. So as Kamara Racer's having that wing change, isn't he then? So he's going to have a much slower stop then. Kamara Racer then down in P17 unfortunately then, but he's going to have much fresher tyres and of course a new front wing on that kick Sauber then to try and get himself back in the contention as well then. Wait and see, but that's going to be a lot of work then for Kamara Racer then to get himself back in the race I should say then. Markey then is going to be caught up now by Vessia then in the background. We've got a Mercedes, we've got an Aston Martin, we've got two Hasses and we've got a McLaren then heading through there as well then. As here we go onto the back straight then, can Vessia sneak his way back past Markey then? He can't then into sector 3 then. We've got R2 beat passing Gamer then for the for P4, no P5 sorry. We've got both the Hasses as well then. Goodness me, there's contact again then, and there's a McLaren involved as well there, but Moranov snuck through and I think that was a sweet MVP to get himself past his teammate then. I think they have got themselves sorted now, but goodness me, their Potstaff has passed Real Fig then for P13, and there we are then. Markey has been passed by Vessia as well then, heading through into the penultimate corner then. Vessia then swooping through on the hard compound tyres. Into the pits comes Farf then for the Kick Sauber team as well then, so he's calling it a day then on his hard compound tyres. Markey's also in as well then for McLaren, and getting themselves out of the way then, out of the firing line then of these drivers who have already pitted for the hard compound tyres. Of course they're going to be much quicker than going through on the next stint then. Is there going to be a wing change for Farf as well then? No, there isn't. He's going to carry on then, or is he? Where is he? Again, he's teleported. Never mind then. Good stuff. And out in P10, it's going to be close with Mad Max then on the exit then of the pits then into turn 1 then. He hasn't got a wing. He has got a wing, sorry. I'm thinking of somebody else there. Never mind. I think it might have been Markey then. Has Markey had his wing change? No, he hasn't then. So Markey carries on then with that end plate missing then. Can he get himself into the points paying positions? Farf's got a 3-second penalty then on his way out of the pit lane there, which is going to be costly indeed, but he's going to have to try and make hay then on those fresh medium compound tyres as we go then. Moranov then is putting the pressure on R2 beat then onto the back straight. Then Irvine's picked up a penalty as well. Then goodness me, as we go onto that back straight, then Moranov then is already pushing R2 beat along the straight before the DRS is even open. Then as we head through then into P3 goes the McLaren then down towards sector 3. Then Sweet MJP trying to pass a Gamer then into sector 3 as well. Then he has done. My goodness me, fantastic. I'm going to sneeze. Okay. Oh my, there's too much action going on out here. It's making me sneeze. Right then. R2 beat then is going to have to try and nurse those tyres, I think, then, because he's going to have to do quite a big stint then. Lewis Riley then from the Grand Prix is into the pit lane, so he has called it a day on his hard compound tyres then. Medium compounds then for the end of this Grand Prix for the Ferrari driver then. He's going to lose a few places here, but of course he's going to be on the faster rubber then to the end of the Grand Prix. Then 11 laps to go then. Moranov inherits P2, R2 beat P3, Sweet P4, Gamer into P5 then. We've got where is Sloth then? Here comes Sloth then. Can he get himself ahead of Lewis Riley then at the exit of the pit? It's going to be close indeed into turn 1, and he has Sloth then up into P6 there as well. Of course Lewis Riley on the fresh rubber then will get that car going as quick as possible. Now is P7 then as he goes in between Tory and Sloth as well here then. Farf then P9, Mad Max in P10, Markey then is in P11 then. Of course trying to get himself back in the points paying positions. Debo is in the pits as well, calling it a day on his hard compound tyres. He is down in P17 but now on the freshest tyres of the field. So there's a lot of penalties out there as well then, but we'll wait and see as R2 beats had a bit of a problem then on the exit there as well. Then has he got DRS to try and defend from the Sweet MVP? No, he doesn't then, as Moranov then is going to close in on Vessia here then. Vessia's got much older tyres, well, 2 lap older tyres I should say, not much older tyres. R2 beat and Sweet MVP has switched places then. Sweet up into P3 then. Of course Sweet is in P3 in the Drivers' Championship as well then, so he's looking to try and keep that run going as well then for the Haas team. And of course at their home Grand Prix they would want a Haas on the podium, I'm sure. Lewis Riley then has got 4 seconds to try and close in then on Gamer as well. Then Gamer's probably going to have to think about pitting in the next few laps or so as well. Then Kamara Racer's got himself back past Irvine then for P15, but Lewis Riley then is 4 seconds away. Then he's past Sloth then into sector 2 then, and now into sector 3. There we go then. Sloth then is going to be under pressure from Tory as well. Then Tory's done a fantastic job of recovering in this Grand Prix, I have to say it indeed. So we'll wait and see then as we go through into the pits comes Gamer. Then Gamer is calling it a day then on his medium compound tyres. So that is a bit of an early stop, I think then. I'm not sure he can get the softs to the end from here. That's going to be, well, he's done about 9 laps on the mediums again then. So he's going for the hard compound tyre now, is Gamer. So can he get himself back in contention as well? Then there's going to be quite a lot of a gaggle of cars there. They are then go through then as Tori has left the session. And my goodness me then, so Tori then, it's just, it's gone from bad to worse then for the Aston Martin driver. He's done a fantastic job here of getting himself back up into the points paying positions as well then. So hopefully he can get himself back in the lobby quickly enough then, but it's a real shame indeed to see that, because Tori then was doing a great job then after a difficult first stint as well then, but it's a way the cookie crumbles, isn't it, as well. There's a Haas in the pits as well, and there's Debo then back in the pit lane. I think he's gone for a wing change there as well, then has the Haas driver then, so I think that's just sorting out that front wing, because it did see coming out of the pits that he didn't have that end plate on the car still. Vessia then is 1.8 seconds away then from Moranov. Then Moranov then trying to chase him down then on the for the race win, I should say. Then Sweet MP then P3. Tori has joined back, then hoping to get himself back in the car quickly as well then, and hold on to that P8 position then, because he's losing time then. Farf has passed off for P6 as well then. Goodness me, then can Farf get himself in contention for some big points here in the US of A? Then R2B is trying to hold on to Sweet MJP here, and I think all he needs to do is try and hold on. There's Marky's past Tori as well, then I think Mad Max will sneak through as well then, but hopefully Tori can get himself back in the car quickly enough to at least hold on to the points paying positions. My goodness me, then I feel for Tori as well. Then he's done a great job in this race. R2B then is holding on then to the DRS then of Sweet MJP. We're just going to have a query, I should say, then on both the Hasses as Tori's. Oh no, has he pitted? The AI's pitted the car as well. Then goodness me, then it goes from bad to worse. And I thought he joined back there, but unfortunately not then. And it's going to be a fresh set of medium compact tyres, but unfortunately it's not going to be too helpful then for the Aston Martin driver then as we go through then to the end of this Grand Prix. I'm sure it'll be very quick indeed, but it's a real shame then as well. Then Moranov has got himself within the DRS now of Vessia here. Then that's going to be terrifying indeed then for the Alpine, but it's going to be great news indeed then for the McLaren. And I think Tori is back in the car now. So unfortunately he joined back just about 30 seconds too late there to stop that car going in the pit lane then. Potentially that could be helpful. We'll wait and see then for Tori, then we'll find out then as we go through then into the latter stint of this race. Then there could be a few drivers struggling with the fuel out there. There's a few drivers struggling with tyres out there as well then, and now Tori he's on old medium compound tyres as well then. It goes from bad to worse for Tori then, doesn't it? I'm really, really sorry for Tori. He's done a fantastic job then in this race, and He's been screwed, really, hasn't he? But there we are. Then Mad Max has got himself into the DRS then of Marky. Then Marky trying to get himself caught up then to Sloth. Then Marky's done a great job so far. Then he's got that damage then as Tori's left the session again. Yeah, well done, Cody. Says I think Tori's having some sort of technical difficulties out there as well. Then. Unfortunately he is going to be he's not going to be able to finish the race, I don't think. Then Kamara Race has got himself past the real fig then for P11. Can Kamara sneak into the top 10 here with then Kydell Gamer switching places as we go through then into that final couple of corners. Then Kydell has lost out to the his fellow Belgian then, of course. Then Gamer up into P14, and of course on the fresh hard compound tyres. Then Gamer is on a 2-stop strategy here. Then can he make that work then is the question as we go through then onto lap 20 of 28 then. We might see Gamer then start to make a few places up then in this latter part of the race then as we go down the inside into turn 1, then passing Irvine. Has he kept the car on the track then is the question. Then can Irvine sneak back through then into turn 2? Not quite then at Gamer, then up into P13 then. So yeah, like I was saying, Gamer then might be able to sneak a few places then in this latter part of the race then, with the driver starting to struggle with tyre wear. Then he will not be struggling with tyre wear, of course, then as we go through this Grand Prix. Well, the rest of this Grand Prix, I should say. Then here comes Moranov then. Can he challenge for the race lead then as we go down the inside then of Vessia then into sector 3 then. Moranov takes the lead then on lap 20 of 28 then. There's going to be 8 laps. Was there 8 laps? 9 laps to go, I think, at the end of this one. Can't do the maths very well, can I? But there we go then. So yeah, feel for Tori then after that. He had a fantastic start then. Of course, he was P4 I think on the start. Had a fantastic battle. The tyres started to struggle then for the on the mediums then at the beginning of the stint, I should say, beginning of the race. And yeah, he was really holding on then, was Tori then, and unfortunately a spin then put him down to the back of the field. Then he pitted for the hard compound tyres. Then he got himself back up into the points paying positions, and then he's been disconnected. Yeah, it's a real shame that is, I think, because we got a yellow flag out there. It's for a racing bull. It's Kaidel's had an issue. Then it's sector 3. Then he's got himself back underway quickly enough though. R2 Beat is in the pit lane then, so he's going to have to do a 2-stop strategy. And Sloth picks up a penalty as well. Then my goodness me, R2 Beat then is into the pits. Then he's pulling it down on his hard compact tires. He's just maybe a bit wary of trying to get those tires to the end of the Grand Prix and thinks it may not work that way as we go through. Then out of the pits, he's going to be down behind the Ferrari of Irvine. Then in P14. And back on the way. Gamer got himself past the real fig then. So Gamer then is on a charge then on his fresher hard compound tyres. We've got medium compound tyres now for the R2 Beat. Or the R2 Beat, the Aston Martin of R2 Beat. And Gordo's also in the pits as well then. So Gordo calling it a day on his hard compound tyres too. Then Tori then not in the car unfortunately. Which is a shame indeed. As we go through then into lap 21, then Vessia then holding on to the as Debo set the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. Then good stuff indeed from Debo, but Vessia then holding on to the DRS. Then he's not close enough to make a move then into sector 3 as we head through. Then Marky then has now got himself within DRS then of Sloth. Then he's going to have to do quite a stint then indeed actually. Has he got DRS? He's not got DRS down this back straight then. Potstuff has DRS then on Mad Max then into sector 3. Now I think Mad Max is carrying a bit of damage. No, he's not. Maybe I was just imagining things. But there we go then into sector 3. Then Potstuff then back in contention as well then for some points paying positions. And there we are out in front then. Morales trying to extend that gap. Then he's got 2 laps younger tyres as well. Then that might play a factor then towards the end of this race as well. In the last couple of laps or so, then those tyres might start to scream then for Vesic. Then slightly less for Morales. We'll wait and see. Sweet MJP might be thinking about a pit stop as well then, because he is going to be under pressure now from Lewis Riley then. And of course we've just seen R2 Beat call it a day then on 13 lap old hards. Then will Sweet MJP have to call it a day then as well? We'll wait and see then. Can he nurse those tyres to the end of the Grand Prix? Can he hold on to a podium place here as well? Then we'll wait and see then. Lewis Riley is putting the pressure on then for that podium place. Of course started then on the front row of the grid and looking to get himself back in contention as well here. Then of course he was battling with Vessia and with Moranov as well then, but they have stormed off then in this second stint then, haven't they? And Vessia then of course he did pit a bit later then off the hard compound tyres, so the means then maybe got himself stuck in a bit of traffic there, which has cost him his progress then in this Grand Prix to get himself back in contention as well then. But we'll wait and see. 7 seconds the gap then between these two I should say then, and the top 2 then. There is Vessia as well then. And here comes Lewis Riley then with some DRS then down this straight. Then can he inherit that P3 position then as we head into sector 3 then, as we go deep then on the brakes then. And Sweet MJP is lost out then to the Ferrari of Lewis Riley then on the medium compact tyres. And can he hold on to it is the question. Then Marky is past Sloth as well then. I can't see from this angle, but there we go. Into P6 goes Marky then. He's not got any penalties as well then. I don't want to jinx it because I probably have done now, but that could be a good result indeed then for Marky. Then that damage as well then, he's been holding on for the whole of this race as well then, I think from lap 1 at least lap 2 then as well then. So if he can finish in the points paying positions, that would be a fantastic result then with this damage as well. So looking strong out there as well then. Mad Max is only under pressure now from Potstuff as we go through then. Kamara races into the points paying positions, but he's going to have a Gamer then catching up to him in the near future as well then. Oh my goodness me, it's very sweaty out here. But it's sweaty in silver then with this fantastic race then here in the Texas Grand Prix, or the USA Grand Prix, isn't it? As we head through then, R2 Beat takes the fastest lap of the Grand Prix then, and that's inherited from his teammate I believe. As we go through then into turn 1, then he has got 6 laps to go to try and get himself back in the points paying position. I think mathematically he could get himself back in the points paying positions anyway, with the penalty situations out there for the drivers right ahead then. As we go through the S's section on lap 23 then, a fantastic shot there indeed, heading through into sector 2 then. Potstuff's picking up a 3-second penalty as well there, I think, trying to challenge Mad Max then for that P8 position. And Mad Max, no penalties for him as well then, could get himself a few spots then towards the end of this Grand Prix for the Alpine machine. Marky doing a Lando then, says Mushroom as well then. Marky then, as Tori has joined, but unfortunately it's not good news for Tori. Hopefully he can get himself back in the car then and at least try and go for a fastest lap point or something then, but fair play indeed for Soldier Run then. Real Fig has been passed by the R2 Beat for P12 then. R2 Beat lock it up then as well then. Goodness me, then he's just about getting that car under control there, and that'll be not good. That won't be good news for his tyres there, but they're only 2 laps old thankfully, so he can get himself back underway quickly enough there. But very close move indeed then. But Real Fig then losing out then to the Aston Martin then on his fresher medium compound tyres. And there we go, then sneaking through then is the Aston Martin, then up into P12 now. He's mathematically, with the penalty situation, then into the points, I think, as well there. But we'll have a look at the penalties now as well. 6 seconds then for Lewis Riley, then that would lose him a place then to Sweet MJP, then he will get himself back on the podium then for the Haas. Barber's got 9 seconds, so that will lose him out a couple of places there. Markey then will get himself up into, or could get himself, if he can get himself caught up then to Favre, and potentially can catch up into that 6 second window then with Lewis Riley as well, then could get himself into P4 or 5 then actually. Sloth's got 6 seconds as well. That will put him under pressure from Mad Max, and he's caught up now as Mad Max then on the hard compound tyres. So Sloth might lose out to P8 then, but of course Potstar's got 6 seconds, Kamara's got 9 seconds, and Gamer's got 6 seconds as well. And so R2P is mathematically already in the points paying positions. He actually is in P9, I believe. Or maybe even P8, but goodness me, I can't do the maths that quickly. But there we are then. Irvin's got 9 seconds, then that won't cost him a place. Then Kaidel has got 15, but that won't cost him a place either as it stands. Then Gordo and Tori, then Tori's in the pit lane, and so maybe he is going for those fastest lap points there as well. Then Gamer has been passed by, has he? Oh, yes, R2B has got himself up into P11. Sloth and Mad Max, there's contact then with the Mercedes as well then. Down the inside we go then, and Mad Max is off the circuit there as well, goodness me. And Potstar looking to sneak through as well here then, round the outside then of the Alpine. Where has he gone? He's ghosted now then, and yes, we can't see what, we can't really tell what's going on there, to be fair, but the good news for Mad Max is that he will inherit the back of those places then with the penalty situation as it is, but I'm not sure what was going on there. Connectivity once again then having it's rearing its ugly head, I should say. R2B has caught up to Kamara Racer then as well then, so he can be looking to get some DRS then on the kick sound, but then Sweet MGP holding on to DRS then of Lewis Riley. Farf then has got Marky closing him in as well then. In the dying embers of this Grand Prix, lap 25 of 28, then 3.5 laps to go here in the US of A. Those are rookie numbers, says Ginger Rage then. I'm not sure what he's talking about, but yes, those are rookie numbers for sure. Debo's got a 3-second motor then this first of the evening then as well then, which is, to be fair, not so bad then compared to the rest of the field as we go through then into sector 2, and Potstuff is pushing Sloth then through the corners as we go through then, and Mad Max is caught back up to this pack as well then as we go through then. Kamara Racers almost within DRS range as well here for the kick sour driver as we go through then into, or onto the back straight I should say, and this is where it might get a bit spicy indeed then as we head through then with the DRS then and some ERS to play with as we go then. Potstuff powers through to P7 then, fantastic. And there we go then, can Mad Max get his nose in there as well? Then no, he can't then. R2B has passed Kamara for P10, so R2B into the top 10 here. He's on a 2-stop strategy then, same as Gamer as well, to be fair. That Gamer's had a bit of a problem there because he's dropped off a bit then, hasn't he, on those hard compound tyres. The hard's not working very well then for the Mercedes driver then as it stands. But he could get himself back in contention. Then we'll wait and see towards the end of this Grand Prix then, because these tyres are starting to drop off then, and now down the inside goes R2B, and Mad Max I think has gone wide then and let the Aston Martin go sneaking through and having a P9 then as well then. Good stuff indeed. Marky then within DRS now with Farf then, of course he just needs to try and get within the 6 seconds of Lewis Riley really, doesn't he? But he's not got the rear wing open actually, so never mind, ignore that as we go through then into lap 26, and here comes R2B down the inside into turn 1, or is he going to make that move? No, he stays behind for the time being then, and stays in P9 now, 4 now I should say, thank goodness me. So R2B then mathematically I think he could inherit the positions from Sloth, Potstuff and Farf potentially as well then. So R2B could be looking to gain another 3 places here in this race. It did look like that R2B could get himself on the podium places then but the early stop then on the hard compound tyres then, it was powering him along very nicely indeed, but of course you don't want to risk getting a puncture towards the end of the Grand Prix then. I think we've actually got Sweet MJP who's on that risk as well, and he's done 17 laps then on his hard compound tyres. Tori is back in the session, is on the soft compound as well then, so fair play indeed then for the Aston Martin driver, get himself back in the lobby then and going for that extra point as well then. At least it's not a pointless race then for Tori, no pun intended there. But here comes Farf and Marky then. Marky's up into P5, or is he holding on to P5? Yes he is, although Farf's sneaking his way back through, and this is going to get tight indeed then into sector 3 then. Marky's got the inside line then, Farf trying to sneak back on the up and under, but not quite then. Marky holds on to P5. Good stuff indeed. Something happened. I think R2B passed Sloth, did he? Maybe, I'm not sure. Oh dear, what's going on there? That's a Mercedes, that's an Alpine, then this is X-Gamer, this is Mad Max. They're side by side into the penultimate corner. Oh dear me, that's close indeed. And they've gone through again side by side into that final quarter, and Gamers held on, I should say, to that position now. P10 then for him, and of course, like I said, tyre situation then for a few drivers are going to be starting to struggle out there. Then Mad Max going to make for a move then, but not quite. Then he stays P11 then. Of course, the good thing for Mad Max is that he's going to get these places back, and then with the penalty situations for all the drivers around him as well then, so that's all not done and dusted. And Kaidel's in the pit lane, I think, to go for the soft compound tyres as well. Then Debo then is going to carry on then, inherit that P15. Gordo then might be thinking about a pit stop then very soon as well here. And there we go then. I think Tori has got the fastest lap of the Grand Prix as it stands as well then, so that's not too shabby indeed then, and unlucky, really unlucky for Tori then, because he could have been getting some more points to his name as well then, without the disconnect then as well. Heading through then into the penultimate lap then, 5 seconds the gap from Moranov then as he leads the way. Then he's got himself back into the race lead where he's accustomed to, of course, then in this season, and looking to control the race then. 5 seconds the gap. Then we've got Vess here in P2 looking to get another brilliant podium under his belt then. Sweet MJP then is going to inherit that position from Lewis Riley as it stands, with the penalty situation then for the Ferrari driver then, but he's done a good job so far then. As Mad Max and Gamer are having a battle, there's contact, and Gamer then has held on then to that P10 position. Well, Mad Max then is going to dive down the inside here then. Both the Alpine and the Mercedes then having a big ding-dong battle. Then Kamara Racer's caught up to this as well then, and Mad Max is in the wall, and he's going to crash then. He's just spun off the circuit, I think, there, because I don't think, unless there was a helping hand from Kamara Racer then, but I don't think he was close enough there. Kamara Racer then was a second or just under a second or so back, wasn't he? But Mad Max then is unfortunately off the circuit then, and he's going to have to get, well, can he get himself into the, I know it can't get himself into the pit, can he? Because unfortunately it's the last lap of the Grand Prix, because we're on the last lap of the Grand Prix for our race leader then. This is Moranov then, he's leaning away then, going through then into sector 2. Let's have a look and see what's going on here then, because Marky then has hold on to has got a penalty to his name as well then, but I think that won't be costly then to that might be costly to R2 Beat actually, because R2 Beat then has caught up to the pack here as well then, so R2 Beat is going to be looking to inherit maybe a P5, potentially even a P4. Maths, great stuff. Yes, soft compound tyres then for the Red Racing Bulls then, and for Tori as well then, so fair play indeed then for all three drivers then soldiering on in this Grand Prix. Fair enough indeed as well then for this man here then. Moranov then has got himself into the race lead. Potstav has passed Farf then for P6. Into the back straight then as we go then, as Gamer has passed Sloth as well then, but again penalties will shake it all up then. But here comes Moranov then into the final corner then for the final time here in the US of A then. Moranov rounds that final corner then here in Texas then to claim the victory then for McLaren then, and improve on his championship lead as well then for Moranov then. What a win then for the McLaren team then. Vessia then P2. And what a result then from Vess here as well then. A great podium then for the Alpine machine then. Very comfortable indeed then in this race as well then. Leading the way then in some of it as well then at the beginning of the Grand Prix then. Looking strong then for a good finish there. But Sweet NP does get himself back on the podium then. 20 laps on the hard compound tyres. Wow. Yeah, that's pretty good stuff indeed. Then Lewis Riley then in P4 then, 1.2 seconds back. Then his R2 Beat as well. Then Marky P6 from the back of the field. Potstar P7. Real Fig into P8 then. Brilliant result from Real Fig as well then, to be fair. Great stuff indeed. And I don't know what's going on there with the stream, but there we are. Farf then in P9 does get some points to his name then, despite all the penalties there. Sloth then P10, then Gamer in P11, then Kamara Racer in P12, then Kaidel's got a 3-second motor, then Irvine picks up P13, then Mad Max P14, Debo then in P15, Tori P18, then Kaidel does not get the fastest lap, unfortunately. P16, then Gordo could get the fastest lap of the Grand Prix in P17 then. We'll wait and see what he can do then as well then, but fantastic stuff indeed then as we cross through then the final part of the lap. Then Gamer has left the session then, out of the race, unfortunately. Not out of the race, sorry, out of the session I should say then. Gordo then up to the line then. What's it going to be for Gordo then? It's going to be, I don't think he got the fastest lap either, to be fair, for Gordo. So there we go then. So fantastic stuff indeed. In fairness, 20 of my 42 seconds of penalties were not justified. I just liked my license point in Spain, says Ginger Age there. Good stuff. And what a race that was indeed. And there is your podium celebrations as well then, with Moranov on the top step of the podium then for McLaren, then Alpine of Vessier in P2 then, and of course the Haas of Sweet MJP in P3. Congrats, podium from RTB as well then. Good recovery as well. The two-stop strategy for RTB did work out pretty well indeed as well, because of course he didn't have any penalties, which helped towards the end of that Grand Prix as well. Then, with all of course the fresh tyres did as well. But right, there is the champagne being sprayed. Then we'll get the podium celebrations out of the way then very soon, hopefully, and run through the classification for the USA Grand Prix then. And there it is then. So Moranov then takes the win from P5, then Vessia, then P2 from P4, then Sweet MJP P17 as well. Then I forgot how difficult his qualifying was. Then he's got himself P3, then Lewis Riley, then P2, then R2 beat P4, then R2 beat P5, Markey P6, then from P20, then Potstuff P7, Real Fig P8 as well. Then good result from him. Then Farf P9 rounds off the race with some points as well. Then Sloth then in P10, Gamer in P11, then Kamara P12, Irvine P13, Mad Max P14, Debo P15, Kydell P16, Gordo P17, Tory P18 with the fastest lap of the race, and Duke and KD. Unfortunately, both Williams didn't take the start of the Grand Prix. And breathe. Right, then we'll get some interviews underway then. I believe only one driver has joined me, and that is Vessia. So Vessia, then, from your point of view, how was that race? Oh, I just realised that I was muted. Vessia, then, well done indeed. You're the only driver who's joined me in the commentary box. And how was that race from your point of view?
That's the most disappointing P2 I've ever had. That's all I can say.
And, you had a fantastic battle with Lewis Riley and Moranov then in that first stint then. And in that second stint, of course, it went down to two, just yourself and Moranov then, of course, pitting a couple of laps earlier. Did that cost you the win potentially here?
No. That probably would have helped me more. I don't think the tyres dropped off that much, but yeah, he's just too quick for silver. So it'd be nice to see him out of silver pretty soon and going up into gold. I think he'll do pretty well there.
And you were battling as well with Lewis Riley as well in that race, and of course he was on a different strategy to you. Do you think you were on the right strategy at the beginning of that Grand Prix, or did you know you were on the right strategy at the beginning of the Grand Prix, or did you think that he might be in a bit of a fight towards the end of that race as well in the reverse strategy?
Yeah, I kind of knew my strategy was good. It was the win, it was the front running strategy in gold yesterday anyway. So yeah. I thought he might catch a bit, but him having 6 seconds of pens in the end, it just made it pretty easy to come home in P2.
Great stuff indeed. I think that's another podium. I think it's back-to-back podiums for yourself. I can't remember
now. Just missed out at Baku.
Oh, never mind then. We don't talk about that. But anyway, good stuff indeed tonight then for Vessia then, and well done indeed to Moranov in the McLaren then.
Oh, he's in the party. He's in the party. Yeah.
Moranov has joined us. Moranov, then a race win under your belt. You looked like you were in a bit of a battle in that first stint then, but you got yourself a P1 in the end then, on the second stint. Then how do you feel after that Grand Prix?
Yeah, I just could pace Sam or Lucas Perez's strategy. I noticed yesterday the overcut is powerful here, so yeah, I practiced today for undercut, and compared to overcut is so powerful. In the end of the stint, hard tire is so fast, and that. But in first stint, I don't know. I cannot close enough to pass Luis or Vessia. I don't know why. They are so fast also. But yeah, I just try to have a clean race. When I see Duke left the station and Mark is back and Sweet is back, so I just want a clean race to get the maximum point.
And you did a great job then as well. Then, sorry, you did a great job then as well. Then on the second stint there, just powering away then in the final few laps. And how was that? Was that race win in the bag for you then when you knew on the hard compoundage you had that extra advantage?
When I see the map, when we see a pit, and when I see he takes it in the middle of traffic, I noticed that he made a mistake. So yeah, in that moment I thought I think this is the best decision to save more as long as possible, and I decide to pit in lap 12, but when I see he's in the traffic, I decide to lap one lap longer. But yeah, I when I see I need 4 seconds of Vestia, so yeah, I think this is the time I noticed I can win.
Well, congratulations tonight then, Muradov, and our race winner here in USA, and of course extending his championship lead as well then with a fantastic result here as well. Congratulations to Sweet MJP, you've got P3. I don't think he joined us in the party chat, but yeah, never
Nope.
mind. Well done indeed then to the top three here tonight then. We'll see you in action for bronze here in the US of A tomorrow night as well then, so stay tuned to ALR, plenty more action coming up then, and we'll see you soon.